Right now at 5, an old elementary school comes down to make way for something new in the future.
It's hot, it's muggy, even this morning. We've got alert days today for dangerous heat and severe weather. We'll talk about all that in the forecast coming up.
And the beginning of the year for school is getting closer, and hiring teachers is an important part of that process.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we have a lot of weather to talk about. We've got an alert day today, not now just for the dangerous heat, but now also for severe weather overnight tonight. So we're going to dive right into this. Let's talk about our alert days first. We got the alert day first for the dangerous heat today, and that is for heat advisories that are out now and even excessive heat warnings. We also have the alert day for tonight for the strong to severe thunderstorm chances as we head into the overnight hours. So here's a look. Heat advisories, southeast Kansas until 9, Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties, southwest Missouri until 7, and northeast Oklahoma, Ottawa, and Delaware counties, heat advisories until 8, excessive heat warnings for the rest of northeast Oklahoma until 8 as well. So we've got the excessive heat to deal with, which we're going to see temperatures today climb into the lower 100s for some of us, and that's going to push our heat index values upwards of 105 to 110. Then midnight tonight, take a look to the north. Here come thunderstorm chances, and some of these could be strong, possibly severe across the area, and they'll hang with us through the overnight hours and into the early morning. We could even have a few lingering thunderstorms as we go towards sunrise tomorrow, and then we'll have another round of possible thunderstorms as we head into Thursday evening, and those could be strong. So here's where our rain chances ramp up, and you can see this just updated. So here's where they start to ramp up as we go into the overnight and early morning hours tomorrow. We have a low-end tornado threat for the areas highlighted in brown. We also have an elevated hail risk in the yellow and an elevated wind risk in the yellow, and at this point really the wind and hail are the primary threats, but remember these hatch marks that we've seen before? This indicates the possibility of significant severe weather in terms of very large hail, and we're talking winds in excess of 70 miles an hour as a possibility. And again, today's not our only severe threat across the area. We have that low wind risk tomorrow as we head into the late night hours, and then we've got a low to elevated risk again on Friday for additional strong to severe thunderstorms out there. So a lot to keep an eye on. We've got mostly clear skies in Joplin right now, 72, that dew point up there at 67, humidity 84%. It is muggy out there. That air is thick today, and that's what's going to contribute to our excessive heat later. 72, Nevada, Lamar, Carthage, Pittsburgh, Parsons, 74, Chanute, Chatopa, Miami, and we're sitting at 71 in Neosho. As we get our morning started, again, mostly clear skies. We warm up quick near 90 by late morning. Highs today, again, into the lower 100s across the area. And because we have these mostly clear skies, our UV index is extreme once again at an 11, which puts your burn time at about 10 minutes. So make sure you're taking precautions for not just the heat, but for the sunshine as well out there. We can't emphasize this enough. An alert day for heat is just as important as an alert day for severe weather. This dangerous heat can be life-threatening if you're not taking precautions. We stay hot through the evening. Look at this, 10 o'clock, still near 90 degrees. Could see some showers beginning at 10, but I think most of us are dry until we get toward about midnight. Overnight lows in the lower 70s. Some of us, if you get a little more rain, could go a little cooler than that, but that still doesn't change it for tomorrow. A possible alert day for heat and more severe weather. Temperatures right around 100. We'll go close to 100 again on Friday, and then we'll have another round of storms in the morning, again in the evening, lingering into Saturday morning. Strong severe storms possible, but this kicks us down upper 80s through the weekend. More storm chances Monday, and temperatures begin to warm up again next week. We'll have more on your forecast, talk about the storms, and remind you about that dangerous heat as we go through the morning. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. One Grove, Oklahoma man is pronounced dead after a fatal accident claims his life. Clifford Garrett of Grove, Oklahoma, was traveling westbound on Missouri 90, 5 miles east of Jane, Missouri. His 2006 Harley-Davidson overturned into a ditch. He was pronounced dead at the scene. A Missouri man enters a plea deal for the hit-and-run death of an Aurora man. The incident happened in rural Berry County in Missouri last year. Derek Coburn pleaded guilty to charges including first-degree involuntary manslaughter, leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death, and tampering with a motor vehicle. He's sentenced to 24 years in prison for those charges. Officers gave him credit for 373 days of time served. The sentence runs concurrently with another case in Lawrence County. The victim in that crash, 38-year-old Patrick Anderson, he was killed when Coburn's truck failed to yield and struck Anderson's motorcycle. The bodies of 2 children have been recovered from Lake Overholser near Oklahoma City. The body of the first child was recovered Monday night. The other was found early Tuesday morning. Police say there were 4 total boys at the lake fishing and celebrating a birthday. 2 of the boys decided to swim while the other 2 stayed on the shore. And one of the boys swimming lost a shoe, so all the boys went in to get it. That led to all of them getting swept away in the current. According to the 2 who were rescued, the other 2 kids are 10 and 11 years old. Out with the old and in with the new. Demolition is underway on Joplin's Columbia Elementary School. Columbia and West Central students combined to start classes in the new Dover Hill Elementary, which opened in January. Back in May, former students had the chance to take one last walk through Columbia Elementary and reminisce. You can see more of the demolition and read about the history of Columbia Elementary on our KOAM News Now app. Well, as the beginning of the school year gets closer, districts in the area gear up, and hiring teachers is an essential part of this process. In Carl Junction, for example, 39 new teachers are already hired, and 2 other positions are still open. In total, Carl Junction schools have about 400 teachers who serve more than 3,200 students. Some of the new hires are already familiar with the area.
I graduated from there, and it's always just been a dream to come back and work from the place I graduated from. I always loved the teachers. They have such a great work ethic there, and so I wanted to be a part of that growth and how it all is there.
Across this state, people are seeing that there's a need for quality educators. Fortunately, I think we've been very fortunate in that we've had quality applicants to fill all of our positions.
The hiring process for Carl Junction School started at the beginning of the last semester. The new hire went through a training last month and will go back to school for 2 weeks before the students. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a former Crowder College alum gets drafted to the MLB. We'll have who is making it to the big leagues in sports. Plus, former Manson follower Leslie Van Houten is released from prison after decades of being behind bars. And scientists have to deny being bribed to lawmakers on Capitol Hill. We'll have why. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
A year ago, you may not have realized it, but there were 2 major league caliber pitchers competing for one of the local colleges. No, not Pitt State and not Missouri Southern. Either Crowder College had the duo of Jacob Mizorowski and Cody Adcock. Now, Mizorowski already got drafted last year by the Brewers, and yesterday Adcock hears his name get called by the Reds, who selected him in the 13th round of this year's MLB draft. He started 14 games for the Rough Riders a year ago, posting a 4-2 record and striking out 81 in 67 innings pitched. Rough Rider fans didn't get the chance to see Adcock this year. He transferred to Arkansas after the completion of the 2022 season, and he stepped his game up there, even while moving into a primary bullpen role. And Crowder baseball's history of success stretches beyond just the past couple of seasons. In the last decade, the Rough Riders have had 9 players get drafted. Well, the Outlaws are back at home yesterday evening and can get comfortable because they play their next 7 games all at Joe Becker Stadium in Joplin. Important contest, though. Outlaws holding on to a slim lead in first place in the Mink League South. Second place, Jeff City, is in town. Outlaws get started on the right foot. Bottom 1, before a lot of fans can even get in their seats, Colton Reynolds going to hit a grand slam. That's going to put Joplin up 4-0 immediately. Outlaws add 1 more, but Jeff City gets out of the inning with this second inning catch at second, or with this diving catch rather at second. Joplin starter Sullivan Lane in a groove early. Strikeout in the second, allows a single in the third. keeps it a 5-0 game with this strikeout to end the inning. You get more Outlaws offense, bottom of the third. First, Nixon Brannon hits a ground rule double to center field. Next batter is going to be Colton Reynolds. He's going to hit a double to right as well. Brannon stays at third, though. Strikeout ends the threat for Joplin. Jeff City's Connor Poley fired up. Lane with another strikeout in the fourth. Renegades get back into it later. Outlaws rally for 3 in the ninth to walk it off, though, winning 9-8. Well, not the only Mink League action in the 4 states. Up about an hour north, the Nevada Griffins are back at home yesterday evening, playing host to the Clarinda A's following their loss to the Outlaws. Griffins not able to get it done at home. The A's score 2 in the second inning, 2 more in the third, and then an insurance run in the fourth. By the time Nevada got on the scoreboard, it was too little, too late. Last meeting of the season between these teams, though, tough opponent. Clarinda has a better win-loss record than the entire South Division. Well, still to come, how changing up your summer wardrobe might help your skin during this hot and miserable season. And we've got another check of our alert day forecast for heat and storms when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Your Fort State Hero today.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:16 now on this Wednesday morning. We have an alert day today with heat advisories and excessive heat warnings, and that alert day continues overnight for strong to severe thunderstorms possible. All right, let's recap. Heat advisory, southeast Kansas through 9. Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties, southwest Missouri until 7. Ottawa and Delaware counties, northeast Oklahoma until 8, and excessive heat warnings for the rest of northeast Oklahoma until 8 as well. Then, on top of the excessive heat today, we've also got the threat for some severe thunderstorms possible as we head into the overnight hours tonight and into the early morning hours of our Thursday. So here we are at midnight. Start to see a few of these thunderstorms sneaking in on us, and these are going to be the ones that could be strong, possibly severe. Here we are at 2 a.m. Now, right now, you can see where the primary expectation is for these storms to be across parts of southwest Missouri. That's 4 a.m. We go through. We could get a little redevelopment on the backside of this. That shouldn't be severe, but a strong storm or two possible. And then as we head into Thursday and go into the overnight hours again Thursday into Friday, we see another round of showers and thunderstorms, and some of those could be strong, low-grade severe. So you can see where our rain chances really start to ramp up as we head into the overnight hours and early morning Thursday across the area. So for today, again, more specifically overnight tonight, we do have a low-end tornado risk out there. It's a possibility, but the greater concern is hail and wind, where we've got an elevated risk for both. And remember those hatch marks we've seen before, that indicates the possibility of very large hail and the possibility of winds in excess of 70. For our Thursday evening, we're looking at a lower end risk for some strong storms, and then Friday we're looking again at a risk for low end to elevated risk, so some strong, possibly severe storms Friday night into Saturday morning. In Joplin right now, we're sitting mostly clear, 72. It is muggy, dew point humidity, both up there. That air is thick across the 4 states today. We're sitting at 74 in Chanute, 72 Parsons, Pittsburgh, Lamar, Nevada, Carthage, 70 in Fort Scott, 74s in Chautauqua, Miami, and 68 in Monette. Now, as we get our morning started, again, hot. We're going to be near 90 by late morning under mostly clear skies. And with those mostly clear skies, temperatures today at or slightly above 100 degrees, putting our UV index at an extreme at 11, which means your burn time is about 10 minutes, so make sure you're taking precautions. We're also talking heat index values today from 105 to 110 possible. Staying hot through the evening, maybe a stray shower or two at 10, thunderstorms overnight, low 70s, and then as we head into the rest of the week, possible alert day tomorrow, highs near 100, strong storms tomorrow night, strong storms, possibly severe Friday night, and then a little cooler this weekend into the upper 80s. Well, last night, Manson follower Leslie Van Houten walked free. She left a Cordona prison 5 decades after taking part in a gruesome double murder that sent shockwaves through L.A. and beyond. Tom Waite has what's next for her.
After more than 5 decades in prison, former Charles Manson murder cult follower Leslie Van Houten is a free woman. The now 73-year-old was released Tuesday morning from the California Institute for Women in Corona. Her attorney saying Van Houten was trying to get used to the idea that her freedom was real. For her supporters, it was a surreal moment.
I have been advocating for Leslie since I retired from the Associated Press.
Retired Associated Press reporter Linda Deutsch covered the Manson arrests and trial from the beginning. Over the years, she established a trusting relationship with Van Houten, meeting with her in prison and exchanging letters.
Leslie has been the poster girl for rehabilitation. If there was such a thing in prison, there isn't much. She is way above anybody else's rehabilitation. She earned a bachelor's degree and a master's degree while in prison. She did every self-help group that they had.
Van Houten's release came only after Governor Gavin Newsom decided not to fight an appeals court ruling granting her parole, saying it was unlikely a challenge would prevail in the state Supreme Court.
She went over and over again to parole boards. She was approved 5 times, and the governor turned her down and said she was still a danger. Even the prosecutor in the case, Steve Kay, once said that he was convinced Leslie would get out when she was an old lady.
Van Houten was part of the gruesome murders of Lino and Rosemary LaBianca in 1969 at their Los Feliz home. Van Houten held Rosemary down with a pillowcase over her head and stabbed her a dozen times, following the deranged orders of a madman, Charles Manson.
I've been locked up in the hole a long time.
Manson spoke to CBS from prison back in 1986, still spewing hate and complaining about his isolation.
For me to come out of that cell, it's a whole brand new experience.
Van Houten's release rips open old wounds for the families of the victims who have strongly opposed her release. Her freedom also means revisiting a dark time for the country.
Now, she says she wants to get involved with grant writing or teaching. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. Should Leslie Van Houten have been released? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. Make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, scientists called to testify on Capitol Hill about the origins of COVID-19 had to defend themselves against allegations of bribery and coercion. Republicans claim Drs. Anthony Fauci and Francis Collins steered scientists away from the idea that the virus was created in a Wuhan, China lab. But the scientist who testified to the House Select Committee on the coronavirus pandemic on Tuesday said it was evidence that disputed the lab theory and pointed toward a natural origin. The scientist said the genetic changes that allowed the virus to infect humans were imperfect, suggesting it occurred naturally. If it had been engineered in a lab, it would have been more precise. Now, scientists say the evidence pointing to a market in Wuhan as the source for COVID is overwhelming. Well, childhood cancer diagnoses have been edging up in the U.S., and that's according to a study out Tuesday in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute. It uses CDC medical record data for kids up to 19 years old to show an 8% increase between 2003 and 2019, but cases are still down from a 2016 peak. The researchers say leukemia is the most common type, and melanoma is declining. Experts say cancer is still comparatively rare in this age group. For people with sensitive skin or conditions like eczema or psoriasis, the heat and humidity can worsen symptoms, and health experts say some clothing and fabrics may irritate skin further. Mandy Gaither has an allergist advice on what to wear this summer.
If the summer sun is causing your skin to flare up, your wardrobe might need a change up.
The choices in fabrics and styles really do have an impact, especially if we are someone who already has sensitive skin or deals with chronic rashes.
Dr. Kara Wada with Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center says in the heat and humidity of summer, you want to wear clothing that's smooth in texture and loose fitting.
Choosing something that is cotton or linen that's going to be breathable and also lighter in color is going to help reflect some of that heat so that our skin is able to breathe and stay cooler as well.
She says skin can actually become irritated by sweat, causing it to be inflamed.
Inflammation in our skin is what makes it leakier, it makes it itchier, and that is a large part of the root cause of our sensitive skin and eczema that we may deal with in summer.
WADA says to avoid synthetic fabrics like polyester, nylon, and spandex, which may trap in heat and sweat.
Flowier fabrics are going to be more comfortable. They're going to allow for more airflow and help our skin dry off in those areas that are getting a little bit moist.
And make sure you lock in moisture with a fragrance-free lotion. WADA says even sweaty skin can get dry in the summer.
Well, the doctor says it's also important to protect skin from the sun. Those with sensitivities who have trouble with chemical sunscreens may opt for a mineral-based broad-spectrum sunscreen, or simply wear a rash guard or long, flowy shirt to protect your body. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got an alert day today for dangerous heat and then strong to severe thunderstorms overnight tonight. We'll take another look at that forecast when we come back.
Good morning, I'm Tanya Bach with your KOAM News Update. It's time for the people of Erie, Kansas to gather and celebrate the town's 150th annual Old Soldiers and Sailors Reunion. There's a lot to do at this year's event. And that includes a beer garden, free inflatables, a fireworks show, and a parade on the 15th. But of course, if you come to the reunion, you can't miss out on the free bean feed, which is 1,200 pounds of Navy beans. And as the beginning of the school year gets closer, districts in the area gear up, and hiring teachers is an essential part of this process. In Carl Junction, for example, 39 new teachers are already hired. 2 other positions are still open. In total, Carl Junction schools have about 400 teachers who serve more than 3,200 students. Some of the new hires are already familiar with the area.
We've got an alert day today for 2 reasons: dangerous heat and strong storms. First, the dangerous heat. Mostly clear skies today. That's going to put our highs at or slightly above 100 degrees. Heat index values 105 to 110. We'll stay hot through the evening, maybe a stray shower at 10. Strong to severe thunderstorms overnight tonight, back into the low 70s. Possible alert day tomorrow, near 100. More storms possible Thursday, Friday night into Saturday morning.
Right now at 5:30, the auction for the historic Reddings Mill Inn is delayed.
We've got an alert day today for dangerous heat through the afternoon, strong to severe thunderstorms overnight tonight. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And the Joplin Police Department welcomes 2 new furry members to its team.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:31. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we are already very muggy out there. I'm sure you noticed the air very thick this morning, very warm, and it's going to be dangerously hot today. And on top of that, we've got strong severe thunderstorms to talk about tonight as well. So let's take a look at our forecast. So first, we've got the heat advisory. Southeast Kansas until 9. We have heat advisories for Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties and Southwest Missouri through 7. We've got heat advisories, Ottawa, Delaware County through 8. And then we've got excessive heat warnings for the rest of northeast Oklahoma until 8 tonight. Then we'll have strong to severe thunderstorms possible as we head into the overnight hours tonight. So let's take a look at what we've got. So for today, a few clouds here and there, otherwise mostly clear. By midnight, thunderstorms start building into the area, and these could be strong to severe. Here we are at 2 a.m. We go to 3, 4 a.m. You can see a lot of them now focused in southwest Missouri. As we head towards sunrise, could see some redevelopment of these storms. They could be on the strong side, but they'll kick out, and then we'll see more storms Thursday night that could be strong, possibly low-grade severe. So our rain chances again ramp up as we head into the late evening and overnight hours across the area. Right now we do have a low-end tornado risk across the area, but the biggest concern is going to be hail and wind. We have an elevated risk for both, and those hatch marks indicating large hail possible, and we're talking about winds in excess of 70 miles an hour with some of these storms. Today, not our only severe threat, we got that low-end risk for tomorrow night into Friday morning, and then a low to elevated risk for Friday night into Saturday morning across the area. So few rounds of rain, which we need, but unfortunately the trade-off is we're dealing with severe weather across the area. We are warm, 72 in Joplin, dew point humidity both high with partly cloudy skies out there. Around the region, muggy start, 72s, lots of them. Nevada, Lamar, Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, Parsons, 74 Chanute, 73 Chitopa, Miami, and 71 Neosho and Carthage. So as we get our morning started, mostly clear skies, near 90 by late morning. Highs today at or slightly above 100 degrees with mostly clear skies, and with the sun, that puts our UV index at an extreme at an 11, so make sure that you are taking precautions. In addition, heat index values today 105 to 110 possible. Staying hot through the evening, stray shower possible by 10, thunderstorms overnight, lows back into the lower 70s. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a new online voter registration system launched in Oklahoma on Tuesday. The system allows people to complete and submit a voter registration application electronically. Now, voters will have to submit their Oklahoma driver's license or state identification card during the application process, and it must match your information. You can find a link to register to vote online through our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, the auction for the historic Reddings Mill Inn is postponed. It was originally scheduled for Tuesday. The public will still have a chance to own a piece of history. The auction will include several pieces of furniture and appliances, as well as the building. It's rescheduled for July 18th at 10 a.m. at the Newton County Courthouse in Neosho. Well, it's time for the folks of Erie, Kansas to gather and celebrate the town's 150th annual Old Soldiers and Sailors Reunion. There's a lot to do at this year's event. That includes a beer garden, free inflatables, a fireworks show, and a parade that'll be happening on the 15th. But of course, if you come to the reunion, you can't miss out on the free bean feed, which is 1,200 pounds of Navy beans.
Bean feed started back in 150 years ago. It's been going ever since, every year. Started in Earleton, Kansas. Scattered around southeast Kansas there for a while, and about 100 years ago, the American Legion took it over and have done it ever since.
The 150th annual Old Soldiers and Sailors Reunion continues through the 15th. Some area middle school kids dip their toes into some science lessons. Thomas Jefferson Independent Day School hosts its Summer Discovery Academy. It includes biology lessons such as looking at bees and a robotics class. The Summer Academy gives these kids an opportunity to get a jump start to the new school year.
Doing summer enrichment helps children when they get back into school in the fall. And there's so many talented students in this area that we want to offer something throughout the month of July where they can come and do that enrichment and be ready to go to school in the fall.
Some pre-K and kindergarten kids got in on the fun too. They went to a Young Scholars Academy and a Studio Art Academy, among other things. The Summer Discovery Academy continues through Friday. And kids in Jasper County got to show off their agriculture projects. It was the first day of the county's youth fair. Tuesday's events included a horse and mule show, farm mechanics exhibits, and 2 rabbit shows, one for big rabbits and one for small ones.
A lot of kids like to show rabbits because they don't have land, and rabbits are one of the many things that you can show that you can keep at home, whether it's in your backyard, whether it's in the house. This is one of the things that you can keep that you don't have to have a lot of farmland for. So you have a lot of little kids that live in rural areas that can show these things versus having room for a cow or room for a pig.
The youth fair will run through Saturday. And folks in Carl Junction celebrated yesterday. It was the second Tuesday of the month, so the Carl Junction Chamber hosted a party in the park featuring games, music, vendors, and food trucks. And since it's the dog days of summer, folks were encouraged to bring their furry friends.
I think the families were looking for something to do even though it's hot outside. When it's summer, we want to celebrate summer, we want to be outside, and so it's really important to pack everybody in. And so tonight people can shop local. We have Higdon Florist, who's our sponsor tonight, is actually having kids make their own flower arrangements, so that's fun. So it's just great family fun activities, and then obviously great food trucks too.
There will be one more second Tuesday in the park on August 15th. It's not exactly a garage sale because it isn't a sale. The Bright Futures organization conducted its annual Garage Free in Carthage. It provides lots of clothing, shoes, coats, and some miscellaneous things, all free of charge to anyone who needs them.
Every year we are given an abundance amount of amazing things. And in order to get more amazing things every school year, we have to get rid of what we have. So the best way to do that is to clear it out to make room for new stuff. So we just want to make sure that if we're being provided with items, that the community is getting those items.
The Garage Free event is at 8th and Grant in Carthage. It resumes later today and on Thursday, running from 9 to 11 a.m. and from 1 to 3 p.m. each day. Well, the Joplin Police Department welcomed 2 new members to its team. They're a couple of dogs named Vice and Koa. The dogs' handlers gave live demonstrations to show how they will be used. Those demonstrations include apprehensions and narcotics searches. The dogs are also trained in building clearing, tracking, and obedience.
A lot of fun, just training every day with them and kind of learning his quirks, because every single dog is different. You watch the other guys go in training and you start to see that they're all so different. It's just crazy how different they can be. And with Vice specifically, it's been a lot of fun building that relationship with him. And
the canines underwent a 6-week training process before they could be certified for police work. The dogs and their handlers will continue to train every week in order to maintain their skills. Well, this morning we're discussing Leslie Van Houten and her release.
After more than 5 decades in prison, former Charles Manson murder cult follower Leslie Van Houten is a free woman. The now 73-year-old was released early Tuesday morning from the California Institute for Women in Corona. Her attorney saying Van Houten was trying to get used to the idea that her freedom was real.
For her supporters, it was a surreal moment. Van Houten's release came only after Governor Newsom decided not to fight an appeals court ruling granting her parole, saying it was unlikely a challenge would prevail in the state's Supreme Court.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Should Leslie Van Houten have been released? So far, almost an even split. 58% of you say she should have, 42% of you say she should not have. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, we meet a boy attempting to climb Mount Kilimanjaro for his sister.
Plus, President Biden and Zelensky meet for a one-on-one, but there's tension due to Ukraine's request to join NATO being delayed. Well, the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, a helicopter crash in Nepal kills 5 Mexican nationals and the pilot. The helicopter caters to tourists who want a view of Nepal's peaks, including Mount Everest. The bodies of all 6 victims were recovered and transferred to a hospital in Kathmandu. The cause of the crash has not yet been determined. Tensions are flaring ahead of a meeting between President Biden and Ukrainian President Zelensky. The European leader was outraged after NATO members announced there's no timeline for when Ukraine can join the alliance. Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
High stakes in a highly anticipated one-on-one between President Biden and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The meeting comes after Zelensky criticized NATO's reluctance to give a timetable for when his country could join the alliance, though they did offer a consolation, announcing Ukraine's future is in NATO, but first the country has to make democratic and security sector reforms. NATO's Secretary General called it a major breakthrough.
This will move Ukraine closer to NATO.
Zelensky wrote it was absurd to place vague new conditions on Ukraine without setting an actual timetable for NATO membership. The question of when comes as the alliance persuaded Turkey to agree to admit Sweden following an earlier decision to include Finland. But many NATO allies worry doing the same for Ukraine now could bring NATO into direct conflict with Russia.
It's not something that can happen in the middle of a war.
Member countries are increasing shipments of equipment and investing in training Ukrainian pilots to fly F-16 jets, an effort Pentagon Undersecretary Colin Kahl says won't be quick.
We're talking about, somewhere between 6 and 18 months, depending on how well the Ukrainian pilots do.
Meanwhile, Russia is watching closely. A spokesman said the agreement to admit Finland and Sweden into NATO is clearly bad for Russia, and his country is prepared to take countermeasures. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Burger King in Thailand introduces a new item it calls the real cheeseburger. It's a burger with no meat. Instead, the bun is filled with as many as 20 slices of American cheese. The real cheeseburger cost about $11 US. I do not understand this name whatsoever. In Thailand, cheese is especially popular among young people. It's common for it to be sprinkled on all kinds of dishes. But where's the burger? That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:47 now on this Wednesday morning. We've got an alert day today for dangerous heat and for the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms as we head into the overnight hours. Let's take a look first at the heat advisories. We've got them for southeast Kansas through 9 o'clock, and then Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties and southwest Missouri until 7, Ottawa, Delaware counties until 8, and then excessive heat warnings for the rest of northeast Oklahoma through 8 o'clock tonight. We're talking heat index values of 105 to 110, easily possible out there. We're talking very dangerous heat. So as we go through today, we'll have a few passing clouds through the afternoon, but otherwise sunny skies, and that will allow us to heat up quickly across the area. It's already warm and muggy this morning. Then as we head into the overnight hours, here we are at midnight, we're starting to see some of these thunderstorms move in, and by 2 we see a lot more of them, and they'll continue to push through, starting to focus on southwest Missouri by 4 a.m. These could be strong to severe. All severe hazards are possible, but wind and hail are the biggest threat, and we'll talk about that as well. Could see some additional redevelopment later in the morning, and then that'll clear out, and we're going to spend tomorrow hot as well, pushing near 100 degrees again. And then as we go into Thursday evening, another round of showers and thunderstorms, and some of these could be strong, low-grade severe across the area. So our rain chances again will ramp up significantly as we head into the overnight hours tonight. And with that severe threat, we do have a low-end tornado risk across parts of the area. But again, the bigger concern, hail and wind, we have an elevated risk for both, and those hatch marks indicating the possibility of very large hail and significant wind gusts in excess of 70 miles an hour. So something we're going to keep a close eye on for you. For tomorrow night's risk, it is low for some strong, possibly low-grade severe thunderstorms at this time. And then Friday night into Saturday morning, we go back to a low to elevated risk for more strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, right now, it is warm and it is muggy. We've got a few clouds out there, otherwise clear skies, 72, dew point humidity, both up there, and it is very, very uncomfortable out there, even at this hour of the day. Lots of 72s, Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, Pittsburgh, Parsons, Neodesha, 68 in Iola, 74 Chanute, 73 Chitopa, Miami, and 71 Neosho and Carthage. As we get our morning started again, mostly clear skies, allows us to warm up quickly near 90 by late morning. And as we head into the afternoon, highs today at or slightly above 100 degrees across the area under those mostly clear skies. And as we head into this evening, no relief from the heat with the setting sun. Temperatures stay hot. We're near 90 by 10 o'clock. Could see a few isolated showers by 10, but most of us will remain dry. The bigger action comes around midnight and after across the area. Lows tonight back into the lower 70s. As we look ahead, we have a possible alert day for tomorrow, not just for the heat, but again for more strong storms. We're looking at 99 for the high. And then Friday, we're still pushing near 100, 97 with those morning thunderstorms from Thursday, additional thunderstorms Friday night into Saturday morning that could be strong, possibly severe. However, with that system, we do still kick back into the upper 80s, so a little bit cooler this weekend. Temperatures begin to warm up again next week, and we have additional shower chances as we head into next Monday. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Well, Washington, D.C. teen is headed to Tanzania, Africa, to help his sister. Hudson Reynolds is taking on an 8-day challenge in freezing temperatures to hike nearly 20,000 feet up Mount Kilimanjaro. And he's doing it to raise money to fight PKU. Caroline Patricus has more.
By now, 17-year-old Hudson Reynolds is en route to Tanzania, Africa.
I've had to watch her live with this disease her whole life.
He's talking about his sister Tia, who lives with PKU.
She was drinking formula and eating small amounts of fruits and vegetables. She has very classical or severe PKU, so her protein allowance was a quarter of an egg a day.
Hudson watched his sister battle this rare disease her entire life.
Yeah, she tells me how grateful she is, like, every day. She's really proud of me.
Hudson is setting out to hike Mount Kilimanjaro to raise money for PKU research.
Right now we're at 193,000, just and only 7,000 away from our goal.
It's been a big priority for his family to find a cure.
You know, my mom cross-country skied across Norway, so I was really inspired by them, just wanted to do something like they did.
It will take him 8 days in freezing temperatures, reaching 19,341 feet by the time he gets to the top.
I've just been working at this for so long, it's gonna feel great.
Hudson's grandparents are also getting in the act. His grandmother skied across parts of the North and South Poles, documenting global warming, and she donated her proceeds to PKU research. And Hudson's grandfather cycled across the U.S. The funds he generated backed the research that uncovered the first PKU breakthrough. Impressive family. We'll be right back. Well, these adorable puppies in California are now in need of a forever home. A Fresno County Sheriff's deputy went above the call of duty Sunday night when he rescued the 3 pups from the side of the road. He said he loaded them into the back seat of his patrol vehicle and took them to Fresno County Animal Services. Workers at the shelter say the puppies appeared to be a shepherd mix and about 10 weeks old. They're cute. Well, grab a spoon and dig into your favorite gelatinous snack. Wednesday, yes, that's today, is National Eat Your Jell-O Day. This dessert goes way back, and it was trademarked in 1897. And Frances Woodward, who bought the recipe and trademark a few years later, really popularized the treat. Today, Jell-O has nearly 24 flavors that can be used to make dozens of versatile combinations. Try it as a salad, mix it up with fruit, or add some alcohol for some fun summer shots. However you like it, make sure to eat your Jell-O this Wednesday.
And today's certainly a good day for Jell-O. We have an alert day today for dangerous heat and then strong severe thunderstorms overnight tonight. As we get our morning started, we're mostly clear, near 90 by late morning. Highs today at or slightly above 100, pushing heat index values from 105 to 110. So we have heat advisories and excessive heat warnings across the area this morning into the afternoon. We're otherwise mostly clear. As we head into the evening, no relief from the heat, maybe a pop-up shower or two later tonight, and then we'll have strong to severe thunderstorms roughly between, say, midnight and 6 a.m. tonight, as well as we go back into the lower 70s. Possible alert day tomorrow. We're keeping an eye on that for more dangerous heat. Temperatures right around 99. More strong storms Thursday night into Friday. Then we could see some more strong to severe thunderstorms Friday night into Saturday. Hot again Friday, so we go upper 90s, and then we cool off a bit this weekend, upper 80s, with more storms Monday. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6, as the 4-state region gets ready for the new school year, one area community says goodbye to an almost 100-year-old elementary school building.
We've got an alert day today for dangerous heat into the afternoon and strong to severe thunderstorms overnight tonight. We'll take a look at that full forecast coming up.
And the city of Carl Junction keeps the summertime party rolling down at Memorial Park for the July edition of Second Tuesday in the Park celebration.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
To the KOAM Morning News, I'm Tanya Bob.
I'm Chris Warner. So we have already got muggy conditions out there across the area. We've got dangerous heat as we head into the afternoon, and then the potential for severe weather overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. So let's take a look at where our heat advisories are right now. In southeast Kansas, we've got heat advisories until 9. Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties, and southwest Missouri, they run until 7. Ottawa, Delaware counties, they run until 8. And excessive heat warnings for the rest of northeast Oklahoma through 8 as well. So as we head into the afternoon, we're talking temperatures at or even slightly above 100 degrees with mostly clear skies out there, just a few passing clouds. Then as we head to about midnight tonight, we'll start to see thunderstorms building into the area, and this is where our opportunity for strong to severe thunderstorms starts to work in. Here we are at 4 a.m. Biggest concentration now across southwest Missouri and the far eastern parts of southeast Kansas. That'll roll through. Then we could see some redevelopment later in the morning across the area. Those could be a bit on the strong side as well. And then for our Thursday Thursday, we have a possible alert day for tomorrow because we're looking to be just as hot. And then we go into the evening and it's another round of showers and thunderstorms, and some of those could be strong, possibly low-grade severe across the area. And then we'll see another round of strong severe thunderstorms Friday night into Saturday. Here's where our rain chances really begin to ramp up overnight tonight, carrying on into tomorrow morning. And in terms of our severe risk, we do currently have a low-end tornado risk across parts of the area, something we're keeping a close eye on. But the biggest concern is hail and wind, both of those elevated, and then you see these little stripes on there. That's indicating the possibility of very large hail and winds in excess of 70 miles an hour with these storms. We have that low-end risk tomorrow night into Friday morning for strong storms, and then we go back to low to elevated for strong to severe thunderstorms as we head into our Friday night into Saturday morning. Temperatures today, again, we're talking low 100s, heat index values upwards of 105 to 110. You've got to be taking precautions out there. And then again, that severe weather threat that we have tonight. We'll take another complete look at your forecast here in a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A Missouri man enters a plea deal for the hit-and-run death of an Aurora man. The incident happened in rural Berry County, Missouri last year. Derek Coburn pleaded guilty to charges including first-degree involuntary manslaughter, leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death, and tampering with a motor vehicle. He is sentenced to 24 years in prison for those charges. Officers gave him credit for 373 days of time served. Now, this sentence runs concurrently with another case in Lawrence County. Now, the victim in this case, in this crash, a 38-year-old Patrick Anderson. He was killed when Coburn's truck failed to yield and struck Anderson's motorcycle. Tuesday marked the end of an era as crews began demolition on Joplin's Columbia Elementary School. Columbia and West Central students combined to start classes in the new Dover Hill Elementary, which opened in January. Back in May, former students had the chance to take one last walk through Columbia Elementary and reminisce. You can see more of the demolition and read about the history of Columbia Elementary on our KOAM News Now app. Well, as the beginning of the school year gets closer, districts in the area gear up. Hiring teachers is an essential part of that process. In Carl Junction, for example, 39 new teachers are already hired. And 2 other positions are still open, though. In total, Carl Junction schools have about 400 teachers who serve more than 3,200 students. Some of the new hires are already familiar with the area.
I graduated from there, and it's always just been a dream to come back and work from the place I graduated from. I always loved the teachers. They have such a great work ethic there, and so I wanted to be a part of that growth and how it all is there.
Across the state, people are seeing that there's a need for quality educators. Fortunately, I think we've been very fortunate in that we've had quality applicants to fill all of our positions.
The hiring process for Carl Junction schools started at the beginning of last semester. The new hire went through a training last month and it will go back to school 2 weeks before the students. Lawmakers are accusing the Saudi Arabian government of sports washing its human rights abuses with large investments in popular sports, including a planned merger between the Saudi-backed Live Golf and the PGA. Golf executives were called before Congress to testify about the deal. Natalie Brand has the details.
Today's hearing is about much more than the game of golf.
Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal came out swinging against PGA executives, grilling them over why the tour suddenly reversed course on its opposition to Live Golf, moving to merge with the Saudi-backed league instead.
It's a regime that has reportedly killed journalists, jailed and tortured dissidents, fostered the war in Yemen, and supported other terrorist activities, including the 9/11 attack.
Blumenthal accused the Saudi government of using money and sports to try and clean up its public image.
What is the amount of the Saudi investment that is going to be made?
There's been discussions. It would be a significant amount.
What are the amounts that have been discussed?
North of $1 billion.
PGA executives testified the sport faced an existential threat in its previous standoff with Live.
If it all continued, expensive legal fights, every day wondering which player was going to leave next, a fan base tired of hearing about it, sponsors nervous. Golf, as we know it, would be damaged forever.
Some families of 9/11 victims attended the hearing. They've said they're shocked and offended by the planned merger.
If any person had the remotest connection to an attack on our country and the murder of my friends, I am the last guy that would be sitting at a table with them.
The PGA has committed to meeting with 9/11 families, and executives say the merger is not a done deal. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Senator Blumenthal suggested the Department of Justice may move to block the merger on antitrust grounds if and when the PGA Live merger goes through. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, called the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Well, folks in Carl Junction celebrated on Tuesday. It's the second Tuesday of the month, so the Carl Junction Chamber hosted a party in the park featuring games, music, vendors, and food trucks. And since it's the dog days of summer, folks were encouraged to bring their furry friends. And there's one more second Tuesday to look forward to.
Next month is the Great Outdoors, and it is on Tuesday, August 8th. It's our last one. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually going to have a new kids game, so bounce houses are all obviously here, but we'll also have another kids game to do. We're going out with a bang next month.
Second Tuesday in the park takes place at Memorial Park. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the dilemma in treating children diagnosed with ADHD.
Millions of families treat ADHD with medication, but worry about the longer-term risk for substance use. I'm Michael George with what a new study finds.
Plus, the state of Vermont continues to feel the effects of the worst flooding in nearly 100 years as homes, cars, and even roads get washed away. And Chris returns with another look at your forecast and how long the 4 states will continue to wither under a severe weather advisory for the heat. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from the Cherryville Youth Fair, which gets underway today in Cherryville, Kansas.
Every nausea and sleepiness. Ask about Ubrelvy.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, the Iowa State House passed a 6-week abortion ban in special session Tuesday night. The bill would ban most abortions in the state as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy. The House voted 56-34, largely along party lines, to advance the measure. It includes exceptions for miscarriages when the life of the pregnant woman is threatened and fetal abnormalities that would result in the infant's death. The bill also includes exceptions for pregnancies resulting from rape and incest reported within a specified amount of time. For the first time in 70 years, the CDC is proposing new restrictions on how dogs are imported into the U.S. The proposal comes after a surge of rabies cases overseas, where the virus is still endemic in more than 100 countries. Dogs from low-risk or rabies-free countries would be allowed to enter if the owners have documents the animals have been there the past 6 months. Canines coming from high-risk countries would be required to have a completed rabies vaccination, possibly be placed in quarantine. 3-alarm fire at a T-shirt factory in Virginia Beach left at least one firefighter injured Tuesday night. Another firefighter was evaluated at the scene because of the heavy smoke involved. While the fire broke out during business hours, fortunately, all of the employees got out safely. The T-shirt store is expected to be a total loss, but firefighters were able to prevent the blaze from spreading to nearby businesses. Worst flooding in nearly 100 years in Vermont cuts off entire communities and causes tens of millions of dollars in damage, with homes, cars, roads, and even railroad tracks washed away. Naomi Ruckham has more.
This couple from New York was traveling through Vermont when they were trapped in the floodwaters.
Every road we couldn't go down, every road, yes, it was blocked.
In Montpelier, they got a helping hand during what's being called the worst flooding in Vermont's capital in close to a century.
It was too complicated to give directions, so I brought them home. That's basically what
She
happened.
offered to come into our car and drive us around.
The devastation and flooding we're experiencing across Vermont is historic,
and catastrophic.
The storm drenched Vermont and other parts of the Northeast with up to 2 months worth of rain in just 2 days. While traveling in Europe for the NATO summit, President Biden declared an emergency in Vermont, ordering statewide federal assistance.
Total devastation. It just shows on how Mother Nature can sometimes just say they're in charge.
Vermont restaurant owner Andrew Mullen describes the damage to his business.
The water was nearly up to the ceiling. The refrigeration units were ripped out of the walls. The big heavy units you need 3 people to carry flipped over easily.
In some areas, floodwaters started to recede while officials assess the damage and the cleanup ahead. FEMA sent a team, and the agency is also monitoring flooding in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
City manager in Montpelier says there's a potentially dangerous situation at the local dam, which is at maximum capacity. If it overflows, the water could flow into downtown. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a very muggy start across the area today, and we have got an alert day as well for the potential for dangerous heat today. And then we've got strong to severe thunderstorm chances as we head into the overnight hours. We'll take another full look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Good morning, I'm Tanya Bach with your KOAM News Update. It's time for folks of Erie, Kansas to gather and celebrate the town's 150th annual Old Soldiers and Sailors Reunion. There's a lot to do at this year's event. This includes a beer garden, free inflatables, a fireworks show, and a parade that'll be happening on the 15th. But of course, if you can't come to the reunion, you can't miss out on the free bean feed, which is 1,200 pounds of Navy beans. As the beginning of the school year gets closer, districts in the area gear up, and hiring teachers is an essential part of this process. In Carl Junction, for example, 39 new teachers are already hired and 2 other positions are still open. In total, Carl Junction schools have about 400 teachers who serve more than 3,200 students.
We've got an alert day today for us as we've got dangerous heat, highs low 100s across the area, mostly clear skies. Heat index values pushing 105 to 110, so make sure you're taking precautions out there. No relief from the heat through the evening, near 90 by 10, maybe a stray shower. Strong to severe thunderstorms possible overnight tonight, low 70s. We've got more heat tomorrow, 99. We've got strong storms possible Thursday into Friday and strong severe storms Friday into Saturday. Hot again Friday and then cooler by this weekend. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:17, almost 6:18 now on this Wednesday morning. And we've got a lot to talk about. Alert day today for dangerous heat and for the possibility of strong severe storms tonight. For southeast Kansas, heat advisories through 9. For Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties in southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri, they run until 7. Ottawa and Delaware counties in northeast Oklahoma, they run until 8. And then excessive heat warnings for the rest of northeast Oklahoma until 8 tonight as well. On top of the heat, we've got strong to severe thunderstorms to talk about as we head into the overnight as well. So we got highs today pushing at or slightly above 100 and heat index values higher than that. Let's talk about the storms first. Midnight tonight, here they are just starting to creep into the area. By 2 a.m., we're starting to see more of them. These could be strong, possibly severe across the region. They start to focus more on southwest Missouri and far eastern southeast Kansas by 4 a.m. That batch starts to move out, and then we could see some redevelopment by 5, 6 a.m. back behind all of this. That could be strong potentially as it rolls through. We'll spend our Thursday hot as well, and then by Thursday evening and overnight into Friday, more showers and thunderstorms, and these could be strong, possibly low-grade severe as we go through Thursday night into Friday morning. Our rain chances today, of course, they're really going to ramp up as we get into the overnight hours with these thunderstorms starting to roll through the area. And in terms of our severe threat today, we do have, at least right now, a low-end tornado risk. We're keeping an eye on that. But the biggest concern is hail and wind, elevated risks for both, and then those hatch marks are indicating the potential for significant large hail and significant wind gusts in excess of 70 miles an hour with these storms. For tomorrow night, we do have that low end risk for some stronger storms across the region. And then for Friday night, we go back to a low to elevated risk for strong to severe thunderstorms across the area as well. As the sun rises on this Wednesday morning, it is muggy outside. It is already getting hazy. Dew point 67, humidity 87%. It is up there and it's going to stay that way. Sitting partly cloudy, 71 in Joplin. Muggy across the area. A little cooler in Iola and Yates Center, 67 and 69. And the rest of us, lower 70s for the most part. 72, Chanute, Parsons, Pittsburgh, Nevada. 71, Fort Scott, Lamar, Carthage. 70, Neosho, and 73 in Chautauqua and Miami. As we get our morning started, again, mostly clear skies, near 90 by late morning. And as we head into the afternoon, as I mentioned, temperatures low 100s, mostly clear skies, heat index values 105 to 110, maybe even a little higher for some of us. So please make sure you're taking precautions out there. And there's no relief from the heat heading into the evening. 96 at 8, near 90 by 10. Could see an isolated shower or two by 10. But again, the main show gets going after midnight tonight, back into the low 70s. Possible alert day today or tomorrow for the heat. We're looking at 99. Strong storms Thursday into Friday. Strong severe storms Friday into Saturday. Hot again, 97. By this weekend, we cool back a little, and the upper 80s are going to feel nice compared to today and tomorrow and Friday. We start to warm up heading into next week, and then we've got more shower and thunderstorm chances by next Monday. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Integris Health, partnering with people to live healthier lives.
Topping Health Watch this morning, children who experience racism have an increased risk of obesity. Study published in JAMA Network Open finds 9 to 11-year-olds who face discrimination have a higher body mass index and larger waist circumference, even after adjusting for other factors for obesity, such as household income. Well, a new option for smokers who want to quit may be coming. A study led by Mass General investigator finds cytisinicline, a plant-based compound, is effective and well tolerated. The drug's been used in Eastern Europe for decades, but this is the first large clinical trial in the U.S. 21% of participants who used cytisinicline for 12 weeks were still not smoking, and 3 months later, compared to just 4% who were given a placebo. 44% of Americans would rather deal with a minor sports injury than put in the work to make a doctor's appointment. That's according to a new poll from Orlando Health, which also finds about half of Americans say it's not worth seeing a doctor if they think the injury will heal on its own. Doctors at Orlando Health say the problem with that approach, it can sometimes exacerbate an injury and lead to new problems. Well, millions of American children have been diagnosed with attention deficit disorders, and families often struggle with decisions about treatment. A new study may add some useful research. Michael George has the details.
For children who suffer from attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, medication is often the first line of treatment. But families coping with ADHD are sometimes hesitant to use those prescription stimulants out of fear they could lay the groundwork for future substance use. A study published in JAMA Psychiatry may provide some helpful results. Researchers at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine tracked nearly 600 patients over a 16-year period. They found childhood use of prescription stimulants was not linked to harmful substance use or substance use disorders as those patients became adolescents or young adults. ADHD is a neurodevelopmental condition that affects millions of children in the U.S. It can cause inattention, hyperactivity, or impulsive behavior. The disorder can affect a patient's day-to-day functioning and is managed through both medication and behavior therapy. Doctors say ADHD is a chronic condition that should be monitored throughout a person's life. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
According to the CDC, about 6 million children ages 3 to 17 are diagnosed with ADHD. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves already a warm and very muggy start across the 4 states as the sun rises. We do have an alert day as we head into the afternoon for dangerous heat. We're talking highs in the lower 100s, heat index values pushing 105 to 110. And as we head into tonight, we could see the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms. We'll take another complete look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 6:30, in case you've ever wanted to own a historic piece of the 4 states, now's your chance as the Reddings Mill Inn gets a second shot at the auction block.
We've got an alert day today for excessive dangerous heat as we head into the afternoon, and then strong to severe thunderstorms overnight tonight. A lot to talk about. We'll break it down in your forecast coming up.
And the Joplin Police Department welcomes 2 new 4-legged members to its pack of patrolmen and patrolwomen, and they look to be the city's best friend.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So I'm sure if you've been outside to maybe grab the newspaper, just open the door, you've noticed it's very muggy out there already. And that's going to contribute to the dangerous heat that we're expecting as we head into the afternoon. As such, we have heat advisories and excessive heat warnings that go into effect later today into the afternoon and evening hours. Now for southeast Kansas, we are looking at that heat advisory through 9 o'clock for Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties, and then in southwest Missouri it runs until 7. Heat advisory Ottawa, Delaware County runs until 8, and the excessive heat warning in northeast Oklahoma runs until 8 as well. That's just one side of the puzzle. As we head into the overnight hours, we have the threat of strong to severe thunderstorms. So today we're looking at temperatures at or slightly above 100 with heat index values of 105 to 110. Then we go into the overnight hours tonight, and here comes this round of thunderstorms, and these are expected to be strong to severe across the area. And you can see as we go later into the morning, 4 a.m., bigger concentration in southwest Missouri and far eastern southeast Kansas. That batch rolls through, and right behind it, maybe some redevelopment out there through the mid-morning hours. Those could be on the strong side, but they shouldn't be severe. The rest of our Thursday, though, hot like today, and then we go into Thursday evening and overnight, and we have another round of strong, possibly low-grade severe thunderstorms across the area. And this isn't the only opportunity. We'll have another round Friday night. So we need the rain. We don't need the severe weather, but unfortunately, that's just how this is playing out. Rain chances really ramping up as we go into the overnight hours and into early tomorrow morning. Here's a look at our threat for today. We've got the low-end tornado risk across the area, so something we will keep an eye on. But the biggest concern is hail and wind, and those hatch marks indicate the possibility of very large hail and wind gusts in excess of 70 miles an hour. We got the low-wind risk for some strong, possibly severe storms tomorrow into Friday, and then low to elevated threat for strong to severe thunderstorms as we head from Friday night into Saturday. So a quick check. Again, low 100 today, heat index values 105 to 110. Make sure you're taking precautions. Possible alert day for tomorrow for that heat, pushing 99, 97 on Friday. And then by the weekend, we cool down a bit back into the upper 80s. Tanya?
Right, thanks, Chris. Some more details come to light about the search for 4 boys who went into the water while fishing. 2 of them were rescued from a ledge. 2 others were last seen clinging to a log as it floated down the spillway. Their bodies have now been recovered. Haley Weger has the latest.
Oklahoma City firefighters were out here at the lake for hours last night working to recover 2 drowning victims. It's a response they train for year-round, but it's a call that never gets easier.
Just a tragic incident.
2 young boys lost their lives to the dangerous waters of Lake Overholser.
They weren't aware of the danger that was in front of them.
Scott Douglas with the Oklahoma City Fire Department says 4 boys were out fishing on the lake celebrating a birthday when 2 of them decided to take a swim.
They were just trying to have some innocent fun. They just weren't sure. They weren't aware of the dangers that were lurking.
One of the boys lost his shoe, so all 4 got in the water to help find it. That's when the 10 and 11-year-olds got swept away by the current.
The turbulent waters pulled them underneath.
2 of the 4 were able to get out of the water, and after an hours-long search, firefighters were able to recover the bodies of the 10 and 11-year-olds.
And he was about 2,800 feet from the dam.
But after hours of searching, this wasn't the outcome anybody was hoping for.
Firefighters don't want to respond to these, we train, we're prepared for these incidents when they do come in.
Year-round, these firefighters are training for the worst-case scenario.
All firefighters are well trained on all the lakes, rivers, streams across the metro.
Many metro lakes don't allow swimming at all.
There's a reason for these signs. There's a reason for these areas that are not supposed to be swam in because they're dangerous.
And with recent storms, you never know what could have landed in the water.
A lot of times these waters rise, they grab glass, metal, power lines.
And making sure you're doing what you can to stay out of harm's way.
But no firefighter wants to see this tragic event happen.
And Douglas says if you are swimming this summer, make sure you're wearing a life jacket and that you're never in the water alone. He says the safest option after storms, stay out of rivers, streams, or lakes altogether. A new online voter registration system launched in Oklahoma on Tuesday. The system allows people to complete and submit a voter registration application electronically. Voters will have to submit their Oklahoma driver's license or state identification card during the application process, and it must match your information. You can find a link to register to vote online through our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Newton County officials postponed the auction for the historic Reddings Mill Inn. It was originally scheduled for yesterday. The public will still have a chance to own a piece of history. The auction will include several pieces of furniture and appliances, as well as the building. It's rescheduled for July 18th at 10 a.m. at the Newton County Courthouse in Neosho. Joplin Police Department welcomes 2 new members to its team with a total of 8 legs. There are a couple of dogs named Vice and Koa. The dogs' handlers gave live demonstrations to show how they will be used. Those demonstrations include apprehensions and narcotics searches. The dogs are also trained in building clearing, tracking, and obedience. An important thing for the canines to learn, how to properly bite.
You don't want them letting go of a bite and re-biting over and over again. So we want them to keep strong on that single bite, that first bite. So that's what he was doing there. They shouldn't show that someone fighting them shouldn't really affect them based on how we train. So that's what he's doing there. It doesn't really affect him if someone's fighting him. He's gonna keep that bite.
Canines underwent a 6-week training process before they were certified for police work. The dogs and their handlers will continue to train every week in order to maintain their skills. Erie, Kansas came out to honor and celebrate veterans at the 150th Old Soldiers and Sailors Reunion. Visitors to the week-long event can enjoy a scavenger hunt, food and beer, swimming, and other activities for the kids, and the return of the American Legion IPR World Championship Rodeo for a 43rd year.
A bunch of cowboys around here that were actual rodeo cowboys that belonged to the Legion, and they brought up the idea of us having a rodeo. So out at the rodeo, where the rodeo grounds is at, about a week before the rodeo, that was a wheat field 43 years ago.
Rodeo wraps up tomorrow, but you can continue to enjoy the event through Saturday, and when it wraps up entirely with a barbecue contest and a big parade. Well, some kids in Jasper County are getting to show off their favorite livestock. Yesterday was the first day of the county's youth fair. Tuesday's events included a horse and mule show, farm mechanics exhibits, and 2 rabbit shows, one for big rabbits and one for small ones. And there's a lot more to rabbits than meets the eye.
I'm going to show them in breeds. There are several different breeds, just like dogs. They come in different breeds, different sizes, different classes. They'll show by breed and by class, and there's small ones and big ones, but we're looking for their teeth being the same size. We're looking for their toenails to be all the same color. We do ask the kids whether they are male or female. They have to know how to check those things.
The youth fair runs through Saturday. Well, some area middle school kids got to roll up their sleeves for a lesson in fun and science. Thomas Jefferson Independent Day School is hosting its Summer Discovery Academy. It includes biology lessons, such as looking at bees, and a robotics class. Summer Academy gives these kids an opportunity to get a jump start to the new school year, and it wasn't all inside the classroom.
And by far, biology is probably my favorite because we just go out and we explore the coolest places. Like we've been to Shawnee Trail. Today we're going to some woods. We've been to Turkey Creek. Like, it's so much fun. It really is. So it's just a lot of fun.
Some pre-K and kindergarten kids got in on the fun too. They went to a Young Scholars Academy and a Studio Art Academy, among other things. The Summer Discovery Academy continues through Friday. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, artificial intelligence continues to blur the lines of everyday life. And now a new high-tech take on the traditional phone scam leaves victims wondering if their own voice is safe.
Plus, we've been talking about our alert day today, dangerous heat and then strong to severe thunderstorms overnight tonight. We'll take another look at that forecast when we come back. But first, here's a live look from the Cherryvale Youth Fair happening in Cherryvale, Kansas.
In Consumer Watch this morning, Bank of America has to pay out $250 million after federal regulators found it double-dipped on fees, withheld credit card rewards, and opened unapproved cards in customers' names. The bank was ordered to pay more than $100 million to customers and $150 million in penalties. In a statement, Bank of America said it reduced overdraft fees and eliminated non-sufficient fund fees early last year. The EPA announced a new rule that will enforce stricter limits on hydrofluorocarbons. Those are the potent greenhouse gases in refrigerators and air conditioners. The agency will impose a 40% overall reduction in HFCs starting next year as a part of a global phase-out effort to slow climate change. General Mills says JJ and TJ Watt will become the first ever brothers featured on its Wheaties cereal box. Wheaties has featured prominent athletes on the box for more than a century. Phone scams are nothing new, but thanks to artificial intelligence, they're getting more sophisticated and more believable. Scam artists are now using AI to clone voices to trick unsuspecting victims. Carter Evans has the story.
Jennifer DeStefano will never forget the frantic call she got from her 15-year-old daughter, Brianna.
And she goes, "Mom, these bad men have me, help me, help me, help me." And this man gets on, very aggressive. "Listen here, I have your daughter." And then that's when I went into panic mode.
The man demanded $1 million.
I said that wasn't possible. So then he came up with a $50,000.
She never paid the money and would soon learn the call was a popular AI scam. New software can recreate the voices of loved ones in distress, and scammers use that to ask for large sums of money.
This man comes on the phone. He said, "You're going to give me $5,000.
I heard our daughter on the phone. Like, it was unmistakably her.
Americans lost nearly $9 billion to fraud last year alone, up more than 150% in just 2 years.
Younger people experience fraud and fraud losses more often than older people, but it's that older adult who has so much to lose.
Cybersecurity expert Pete Nicoletti created my voice from old news reports online. What you're about to hear is something I never said.
"Hey, this is Carter. I need your credit card number right now."
I mean, that really sounded like me.
It is you. It's cloned you. It's AI Carter.
To test it out, we called my mother.
"Hey, I'm about to do an interview, but I have a quick question. I need you to text me your driver's license number as soon as you can."
She fell for the fake voice.
I feel bad.
I feel terrible
we
about
just
it.
scammed my mom. Did you just get a call from me?
Asking for my driver's license number?
Yes. That was an AI-generated voice.
Oh, God, Carter, that's scary. Is this the real you now?
This is the real me now.
We live in a post-real society. You can't trust the voice, you can't trust the photo, and you can't trust the video anymore.
A voice is like a fingerprint. And that's that unique fingerprint that's being exploited and weaponized. It has to stop.
Carter Evans, CBS News.
That is so scary. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got an alert day for us today, so we're starting out warm and muggy and sunny. An alert day for excessive heat today. We're talking dangerous heat out there, and we're watching the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms overnight tonight. So for our highs today, we're talking low 100s, heat index values easily 105 to 110 across the area. We'll take another full look at your forecast as soon as we come back. But first, we would like to check in on what's going on across the area. We love doing that with CBS Mornings. We've also got our birthdays and anniversaries around the corner, but like we always do, here's our friends in New York City.
Hello to you, I'm Gail King. Here's what's coming up on CBS Mornings. Tony channels his inner Tom Cruise. Look at him. Learns how to do some of the stunts you'll see in the new Mission Impossible movie. Tony's doing pretty good there. Plus, we'll talk with the returning Mission Impossible star, that's Vanessa Kirby. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Wednesday birthdays across the 4 states, and we are going to begin in Pittsburgh with Ellie Meadows celebrating the big #1, already driving. All right, way to go, Ellie. Happy birthday.
That's almost scary. All right, Blakely Bruce turning 1 this year. What a sweetie there in Chetopa, Kansas.
And Alex Pack celebrating the big number 6 over in St. Paul. Happy birthday, Alex.
All right, Mila Bell Hutchins. A special note for Mila Bell, who's turning 7 strong. We love you from Papa and Nani.
And over in Fort Scott, we've got Paisley Murphy celebrating the big number 8. Happy birthday, Paisley.
All right, Kinley Price, welcome to the teenage years. Kinley, 13 now in Sarcoxie.
And over in Girard, Darcy Miller, she's the one on the right, celebrating her 20th birthday today. Happy birthday, Darcy.
In Liberal, it says Liberal, Kansas. I wonder if it might be Liberal, Missouri, a little bit closer to us here. Ashley Layson turning 25 years old.
And in Crestline, our neighbors to the south, Jonathan Palmer celebrating number 39. Happy birthday, Jonathan.
And Coral Burns is 40 this year, the big 4-0. Looking great there, Coral, in St. Paul with love from all of your family.
And Jimmy Miller in Pittsburgh celebrating birthday number 48. Happy birthday, Jimmy.
All right, Dewey and LaDonna Smith in Columbus are celebrating 65 years of wedded bliss. Congratulations to the Smith family.
And our very own Amanda Salgado celebrating a birthday today. She's one of our digital marketing specialists. We want to wish you a very happy birthday, Amanda.
Happy birthday, Amanda. And birthday wishes going out to Jessica Ray in Columbus. Hope it's a great one.
And Barbara Grizzle, also in Columbus, celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday and anniversary to all of you. And Tanya can tell you exactly where you need to send them if you've got future birthdays and anniversaries.
That's right. All you have to do is send your information and the pictures, please. We love pics. To birthdays with an S at KOAMnewsnow.com.
And while you're on our website, make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. It is easy to do. You get special deals from local businesses, and you get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So head over to KOAMnewsnow.com. Sign up for that birthday club today. All right, lots to talk about this morning. First, the dangerous heat. We have heat advisories for southeast Kansas until 9, Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties, and southwest Missouri until 7. Ottawa, Delaware counties, and northeast Oklahoma until 8, and excessive heat warnings also in northeast Oklahoma until 8 this evening. We also have strong to severe thunderstorms to contend with as we head into the overnight hours tonight. So today we're looking at highs at or slightly above 100 degrees with heat index values 105 to 110 possible out there. So please make sure you're taking precautions in this heat. Drink plenty of water. Stay inside if at all possible. By midnight, we start to see scattered thunderstorms. Then by 2 a.m., they really start to pick up. This is where our window for strong to severe thunderstorms is going to be. By 4 a.m., primarily in southwest Missouri, that batch moves out, and right behind it, some redevelopment. Could be a couple of strong storms between about 6 and 9 in the morning on Thursday. After that, it clears out, and we get hot yet again ahead of another round of strong, possibly low-grade severe storms starting Thursday evening and going into the overnight hours into early Friday morning. So our rain chances, of course, through the day, not so good, but as we head into the evening and overnight, that's where they really start to ramp up out there. And with our severe threat for tonight, we do have a low-end tornado risk across parts of the areas. We're keeping an eye on that. But hail and wind are the primary threats, both of those elevated. And you see those hatch marks, that's indicating the possibility for very large hail, greater than 2 inches in diameter. And in these hatch marks, we're talking wind gusts greater than 70, possibly upwards of 80 miles an hour with these thunderstorms. So something that we're going to keep a very close eye on tonight. As for tomorrow night's storms, we've got the possibility of some strong, low-grade severe storms tomorrow night into Friday morning, and then it happens again Friday night into Saturday morning. We go back to a low to elevated risk for some strong to severe thunderstorms across the area. We're going to take another look at your forecast and whether or not we're going to get any relief from this heat, as well as the news you need to know when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Erie, Kansas came out to honor and celebrate veterans at the 150th Old Soldiers and Sailors Reunion. The event includes a beer garden, free inflatables, a fireworks show, and a parade. That's happening on the 15th. But of course, if you come to the reunion, you can't miss out on the free bean feed, which means 1,200 pounds of Navy beans. Tuesday marked the end of an era as crews began demolition on Joplin's Columbia Elementary School. Columbia and West Central students combined to start classes in the new Dover Hill Elementary back in May. Former students had the chance to take one last walk through Columbia Elementary and reminisce. And a new online voter registration system launched in Oklahoma on Tuesday. The system allows people to complete and submit a voter registration application electronically. Voters will have to submit their Oklahoma driver's license or state identification card during the application process, and it must match your information. You can find a link to register to vote online through our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Joplin Police Department welcomed 2 new members to its team. They're a couple of dogs named Vice and Koa. The dogs' handlers gave live demonstrations to show how they will be used. Those demonstrations include apprehensions and narcotics searches. The dogs are also trained in building clearing, tracking, and obedience. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, alert day today. Dangerous heat this afternoon. Temperatures at or slightly above 100 degrees. Mostly clear skies. Heat index values 105 to 110. So make sure that you are taking appropriate precautions. We'll stay hot through the evening. Maybe a stray shower or 2 by 10. And then strong to severe thunderstorms overnight tonight as well. Back into the lower 70s. Possible alert day tomorrow with more heat near 100. More strong storms tomorrow night. Strong to severe thunderstorms Friday night into Saturday. Near 100 again Friday. And then a little bit of relief this weekend as we fall back into the upper 80s.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making dining car steak in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. 90 million people are being impacted by the excessive heat felt from California to Florida. Ahead on CBS Mornings, what you can do to stay cool and if there's any relief in sight.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. In this morning, we've got Michael Hendricks and David Clevenger from the 3rd annual Boomtown Car, Truck, and Bike Show rolling into the studio with all the details that you need to know.
And KOAM's Fernanda Silva takes us to Carl Junction School District, where they're getting ready for the upcoming school year. And you brought a pie with a squirrel on it.
It is National Pecan Pie Day, and we are going to be celebrating today with a pie from Circle's Pecan and Country Store. Yay!
All right. Well, no better way to celebrate. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.